Hello and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina vlog about Dnipro, the central Ukraine. Uh, Today I'm with David, who visited Dnipro as my friend, and he'll tell you about himself in a while. And David Lewis decided to visit Dnipro during the third year full-scale invasion after the war starting in 2014, and that's pretty impressive. And I'm really happy to have David here. Hello, David.
Good morning, Dobry den.
Добрий день. So, can you tell us why are you here?
Yes, well, very honoured to be invited to Dnipro, this lovely city. I've only seen it and heard about it from afar, and now I have the chance to come and see it in person. So thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for making the arrangements for us. We're here to work or to seek a working relationship with the Dnipro State University of Internal Affairs. It's a policing university. We already work at the State University of Internal Affairs in Lviv, and we want to extend that work and extend the efforts that we're making to support Ukraine by working in Dnipro.
Okay, and what do you offer to the university? So you're from UK. I just in case here. So David is from the Ethical Alliance, and he's based in the UK. And so what do you offer to the university?
Well, yes, I'm the director, or one of the directors of the Ethical Support Alliance. We're a company that we started to help Ukraine, and the offer is to help with their police training. I'm a former police officer. My co-director, Jonathan Jackson, is a professor at Leeds Trinity University in the UK. We're working together, and we will be working together with yourself from the University of York St John, and with Mariana Muka from York St John University. No, she's from the York Ukrainian Society, and also we have an English language tutor advisor called Linda Polkowski. And the idea is that we help to train the police not just in English but in counter-corruption methodology, so that we help their efforts to remain of a very high standard. Okay. That's the idea.
That's good. Yeah, that's great. And I know that David works in the University of Lviv for 3 years, but is it your first time in Dnipro specifically?
It is, yeah, my first time here.
Yes. So, and I know from you that people said don't go to Dnipro. Is it true?
It is true, yeah.
What did it tell you?
Well, of course, the British government's approach is not to come to Ukraine full stop, because it's dangerous. I do not perceive it as being dangerous, because danger is a perception. And if you know what the risk, if you know accurately what the risk is, then there's no real danger to you personally. And Lviv is relatively safe. But people said don't go to Dnipro because it's too close to the front line. It's within ballistic missile range, so you'll stand a higher chance of being hit. And I think unlikely.
Okay.
Unlikely.
Yeah. So, and how did you travel here?
I came by a rather circuitous route. We came from UK flight to Poland, and then by bus. But to get to Dnipro, I left Lviv by overnight train to first to Kyiv, and then from Kyiv to Dnipro. So it was 17 hours journey, and it was very pleasant. Very pleasant indeed.
Okay, what do you think about the night sleep in train?
Yeah, it was much better than my previous experiences. I've been 4 times now on Ukrainian railways overnight, sleepers, to Kyiv and through Poland, in fact, back into Ukraine. And this was my best experience. It was a it was a 2-bunk berth, just 2 of us in there. And I travelled with a soldier, and I'm very honoured to share that space with him. Okay. I shook his hand and wished him all the very best.
Okay, good. And now here, do you feel safe? How's the situation? How's Dnipro? How do you find the city? And in terms of safety, in terms of spaces, in terms of maybe something impressed you? So.
Well, the war is more present here. It's more obvious than Lviv. It's more like when we first went to Lviv, we saw anti-tank obstacles, pillboxes, There were soldiers with rifles born at every street corner. Everything was sandbagged. It was quite a shock when we first came.
Yeah.
The war was very, very present in Lviv. But now you hardly, except for the very sad picture of wounded soldiers, and that is very tragic. But other than that, you don't really see the war in Lviv anymore. There's a few boarded up buildings and some old sandbags.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, it's not so present. But you come here and it's like Lviv was 2 years ago. I've seen the anti-tank crosses, what you call them, hedgehogs or whatever they're called, pillbox on the bridge, the shell damaged buildings, broken windows from missiles, vehicles going to the front. There's much more military presence, and I detect people are slightly more tense here than they are in Lviv.
Yeah, and what in terms of air sirens and in terms of shelters? So what do you think about this part of it?
Yeah, the shelters were a bit of a surprise. I hadn't expected those. These are concrete structures actually on the street. Now, I thought, well, that's different to Lviv. We don't have those. Yeah, and you took me in, didn't you, to show me the inside of one, and I thought, well, they would stop the splinters, wouldn't they? But they wouldn't stop a direct hit. But at least they're good, so people can rush into them. So that I felt quite safe that those were around. That was good. But yes, the missiles. There wasn't a siren, wasn't there yesterday? And then they said, well, no, it's landed elsewhere, thankfully.
It's a reality, yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't really thought of. We got so safe in Lviv. We feel so safe there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, on Thursday, was it, of this week, while I was there was this quite large attack, 5 caliber ballistic missiles and 2 waves of drones, which I managed to sleep through all the way.
Yeah.
I just thought it was rumble of traffic on the roadways. I didn't feel I was in any danger. And thankfully, they landed, thankfully for me, they landed on the other side of Lviv, and as far as we know, nobody was killed.
Yeah.
But then there was the siren yesterday, and I thought, well, nobody's taking much notice of this. So I sort of said, don't you go to the shelter?
Yeah, I remember, it was hilarious. It's like I even didn't get the question. Like it was so, because David asked me over and over, like, there was a siren. I was like, yeah, I suppose it's kind of it's okay. Yeah, we had it. And he was like, no, there was a siren. I was like, yeah, don't worry. And it's like, then I realized that we ignored it. That's bad. So don't have, if you're ever in Ukraine, please do go to the shelter, just shelter somewhere, find your closest proper underground bomb shelter. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I was in a meeting online from Lviv with Save Ukraine, the charity there in Kyiv. And during the phone call, during this meeting, the sirens went off. And I said to the CEO, I said, well, I can hear the sirens going. Don't you go to the shelters? And she said, well, if we went to the shelters every time the sirens went off, we'd never do any work.
Yeah, that's true. That's the approach now, especially like in this heavily siren or heavily targeted cities. Okay, and for those who are now abroad who've never been in Ukraine, for the foreigners, is there anything you can tell to them?
I'd say, come to Dnipro, actually. I didn't feel any particular danger of coming. I was more aware because it's further east. So there's an obvious that it is more in the target range. But Dnipro reminds me very much of my school days in Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton is a city in the UK. It's an industrial city. It's not a posh city. It's not a rich city. It's a very down-to-earth industrial city, and it's based on the iron and steel industry. Yeah, that's which Dnipro is. And you have places very similar to Dnipro, like the Birmingham Small Arms factories that manufacture weapons and ammunition. So it's very similar to Dnipro. And there's not so many posh buildings as there are in Lviv, for instance, but there's a sort of down-to-earth, a solid application of determination here. I think people are working people, and they go to work and they're making it work for themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Also, I have some Ukrainians there, so some Ukrainians also watching us. Is there anything you would like to say to Ukrainians?
I always like to talk to Ukrainians and say, look, we're doing everything we can to support you because, Ukraine is defending Europe, isn't it? It's defending the free world, and the sacrifices that Ukraine are making are just awesome. And whenever we go somewhere, Ukrainians thank us for what we're doing. And I always say, no, don't thank us. We thank Ukraine. We thank Ukrainians for doing what they're doing because their sacrifice means we don't have to sacrifice ourselves. So a little bit of effort from us, both politically and practically, I think is just a small gesture. It's taken over my life, yes, but that's still a small gesture compared with losing your life as a Ukrainian.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your help to Ukraine. I know that you are working for 3 years and you are working hard with humanitarian aid, with this fight corruption, anti-corruption activity, educational activity with the university. So it's a great work. Thank you. And thank your friends for doing it, for doing the same. Some of those friends that have never been to Ukraine because it's kind of dangerous. I mean, it is dangerous. Okay, let's not put it in the quote marks. It is. But yeah, so some people have just never been here and they don't understand the beauty of the place, but they still have and feel like
the river. The river is incredible. I have seen big rivers, obviously, but the Dnipro River, very huge. What is it you said that there's the longest walkway, a promenade?
Dnipro is 23 kilometers. It's the longest river promenade we say in the world, maybe in Europe. I heard about the longer seaside promenades, but probably the river one, it's either in Europe or in the world. Yes, it's huge.
It's good to see. Yeah, it was. Yeah. And going over the bridge, you think, oh my goodness, it's huge.
Okay, thank you so much.
Дякую.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Again, welcome to Dnipro. It's up to you in terms of security. So hopefully the war stops, and hopefully we are doing everything to do it as fast as possible, to make this day closer. So hopefully the war stops and it will be safe to travel. Maybe at some point you will not have to go in the night sleep, so you can just fly here. But thank you for your help. Please do stay with us. Do talk to your friends about Ukraine, to educate them because it helps a lot. It makes a lot of difference. And thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
До побачення.
До побачення.